One day, a short time ago, Paul Gutierrez of ESPN Nation for the Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders, is reporting that Marcus Mariota has reached agreement with the Oakland Raiders or the Las Vegas Raiders on a new deal. I got to stop this at some point in time. And Mariota will get a chance there, and I think he'll basically go in there and he'll hope to do what Ryan Tannehill did in Tennessee, get a chance at some point in time, prove that he can play, revive his career, and get a chance to prove that he is the man that people thought he was when they drafted him out of Oregon back. The Tennessee Titans did. So, again, it looks like Marcus Mariota is going to be headed to Las Vegas to play for John Gruden and the Las Vegas Raiders.
Shefty, thank you. And you know what? What a great point. Because if you're Mariota, who I think by all accounts we'd all like to see succeed, you have to look no further than to the person who replaced you. I mean, it did happen. Right? He got a real life example of, hey, this guy was struggling too, his career not going the way he wanted. Then there was a resurgence. That could happen as well. Is Oakland? Are the Raiders? Okay.
Yeah. You got to pass.
I get a pass. Okay, I got one. Are the Raiders the team for that, Mike?
The Raiders of Las Vegas?
The Raiders of Las Vegas.
Yeah, when you look at their offense, they did a lot of good things last year, but they couldn't score points. They were under 20 points per game. They were 24th in the league. And Derek Carr got the ball out of his hands quickly, and they do have some pieces. Josh Jacobs, their first-round pick. They signed Tyrell Williams. Darren Waller's an underrated tight end. So there are some really good pieces there. I think Derek Carr is on a really short leash. And if you look at what John Gruden's done in his past, having some athleticism at quarterback, which Mariota has, I think that's a good fit. And as close as you can get to what he had in Tennessee, I think the Vegas Raiders have that with Derek Carr, who's very tenuous right now.
Yeah, I think, you know what, Wendy, the number one thing he can do is exactly what the people in Tennessee will tell you what Ryan Tannehill could do, regardless of whether or not you think this is a good fit and Oakland's the best spot for him. And you know I believe in that. I believe in fits really making the quarterbacks more than quarterbacks kind of making it fit. But Ryan Tannehill, if you talk to the people down there, came in there, and Mike Vrabel said this himself, what he did was he earned it. He earned the respect day after day of learning this offense to a T, to where he didn't have to always, when he got in there, have to turn around and ask the coach, what was that check again? What was the play call? Can you repeat it again? He knew his stuff right from the get-go, and they knew right away, as soon as Marcus starts slipping, this guy's ready to go. He's ready, and that's the best. I'm telling you, and Marcus knew it. He watched it. He watched it happen. So for him to go out there to Oakland, I'll tell you the best thing he can do. Number one, he better be able to call the plays out there, because you know how John is and how wordy his verbiage is out there. So he needs to go ahead and get in his good graces right away and not have to repeat the play calls.
Start now.
And then when he gets his chance, go out there and ball. I think it's a perfect situation for him, quite honestly, because you know how fickle John can be. And I think sometimes that's unfair because he has stuck with Derek. But I think you're right in this situation. I think all things are up in the air as far as who's going to wind up playing.
And I think what's also intriguing about it is it also tells us who's not necessarily going there. Some people have talked about Jameis Winston. Is he, John Gruden and, potentially has a love affair if that doesn't work out in Tampa? Or, is this a spot now that is X'd out for Tom Brady or what have you? So I think that's equally as intriguing as also the opportunity for Marcus to do what Ryan did in Tennessee and revive himself in another environment.
I totally agree.
There are times when a player can be beloved and can do everything right in terms of his habits and really everything but produce. And that was the case with Marcus Mariota in Tennessee. I mean, if you find somebody who has a single negative thing to say about Marcus Mariota during his time in Tennessee, I won't believe you. I don't think that person exists. That being said, a change of scenery would be the perfect thing for Marcus Mariota. I don't know that he has a skill set that's going to lead him to become a long-term starter going forward. Maybe that ship has sailed, but it's a worthwhile gamble. We saw it with Tennessee last year in Ryan Tannehill.
What's interesting about Marcus is, remember now, he started off hot. He also took a beating, wicked beating early in his career. He does, when you say a change of scenery, yeah, you're right. For a number of different reasons, it may be the best thing that happens to him to have Ryan teach him the lesson that he did that he can use going forward.
Totally. Yeah, that's exactly right. I've had that speech countless times in my career, which is, hey, Ryan Tannehill, just flush everything, good or bad, that happened in Miami. Today, let's just put one foot instead of the other. It's a fresh start. Mariota, when you go out to Vegas, what happened in Tennessee, flush it. Just put one foot in front of the other. Stack one good day on top of the next, make progress, and everything that happened there is ancient history.
Yeah, a short memory would be his best skill set.
What's interesting is that people right now can't get their mind around the fact that is exactly what Tennessee did and rewarded Ryan for in Tennessee, which was, and people are going, well, he stunk at Miami. He couldn't get him over the hump. He couldn't stay healthy. He couldn't do this. Some people say it was Adam Gase. Obviously, Mike Vrabel said, I don't give a you-know-what about what he did in Miami. I know what he did for us. I know the rapport that he has right now with Arthur Smith, our offensive coordinator, who's a star on the rise.
That's true.
And we're going to pay him for the future what we think we're going to get. And this contract's going to make us look very smart. That's the bet that they're making. And I think it's the right bet.
And Arthur's also a Tar Heel, by the way. But anyways, I
Arthur's also what?
he's also a Tar Heel.
He's a Tar Heel.
I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, well,
we got that
he was
connection
an
every time
intern
I cover
for me
stuff.
at one time,
But anyway, so I wanted to ask you, do you...
Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're welcome.
But you know what? And the thing that trumps it all is, well, his dad owns FedEx. So you know what? It doesn't really matter.
So I wanted to ask you, do you feel like Marcus has the DNA to rise all ships to in critical moments, and it's not just about him not getting the protection, also that he hasn't had the opportunity to show that because he hasn't had the protection.
If you remember, I'm like, now, I'm not saying if you, but I'm saying overall, when he came out of Oregon, that was really what people were hanging their hat on, that he had that DNA, that the guy was absolutely right down the middle. Nothing affected him. He could overcome adversity. He was a guy who was going to stay the course. And when you talk to him, I mean, he has that personality. Like, you could sit there, it's almost like, you could sit there and try and make him flinch, and he's just like,
careful now.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, he was just that kind of guy. So, I mean, I would think that he wouldn't be someone who right now is still seeing ghosts and someone who's still, like, kind of, struck from the times, the negativity that he had in Tennessee. At least I would hope so.
Well, and
because
Field
Ryan
said,
Tannehill sure wasn't.
Well, that's it. And Field said, I'm not sure he has the skill set to fill in the blank, but that's exactly the same things we said about Tannehill when he was struggling.
Haven't we learned time and again, like, take your swings at a quarterback, right? Like, just give it a shot.
Yeah.
And the terms will be interesting in terms of how much money he's paid, but I can't imagine it's a prohibitive amount where even if he's just your backup, you're saying to yourself that wasn't worth it. Because if he's not and he becomes your full-time starter,
good for you.
I think it's a great move for Ryan Vegas.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
One quick point. Sometimes we forget we're in a developmental league. Last year, Ryan Tannehill, one-year deal. Shaq Barrett, one-year deal. A year later, one's rewarded handsomely, the other one's franchise. So Marcus Mariota, you're closer to the beginning of your career to the end. So get coached by John Gruden and see what the future brings.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.